Hey guys, and welcome back to another week of Weekly Coldplay. My name is Monica.
And my name is Daniel.
And we are a weekly podcast all about...
You guessed it.
Seals.
The ones by the ocean or the one who sings about a kiss from a rose?
Why not both?
Oh, alright.
Oh! Yeah.
Settle down.
Listen, that song rules, alright?
Does it now?
Yes, it rules. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah. Anyway, I want to rewatch Batman 89 now. Anyway.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my god, it rules.
Everything rules.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg rules.
I love Simon Pegg. Anyway, so this week we're going to talk about the Zane Lowe interview, which we have been kind of like pushing back because of all the Moon music news. But we were finally talking about it. It was an hour long, so we thought it deserved its own headliner. So Zane Lowe, and then my prediction of what a set list would probably be post Moon music, since Coldplay are going to be in Australia this week, starting on the 30th.
So to clarify, it's your prediction, not what you want to happen.
Well, it's both.
Oh, okay.
It's both. It's like, yeah, it is like what I want to happen on the set list,
okay.
but you know.
Not like I'd put a bet on this.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. It's more of what I want than what it, you know.
Okay. I, full disclosure, forgot to work on it and then did some of it, but I'm feeling anxious about it. So I'm not sharing a set list today, but maybe next week I'll share a set list.
Okay. And then that could just be your full just dream set list then, because we will have the Australia set list. So right now we're going to see how accurate I am. It's not going to be very accurate. Okay, I did base some of it, we'll get to it, but I did base some of it off of the current, I guess, the summer set list that they had. So we'll see how that's going to work out. So we also won't have any spoilers or speculation. I guess my speculation is the set list.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really it, but nothing too crazy. So we're just going to get right into the Zane Lowe interview. First of all, confirmed, it will be 12 albums. We already know that. And
that's real. Promise.
Yeah. I think, we joke about, not believing Chris's lies. I think they're actually I think this one seems to be pretty accurate. I think that Coldplay will stop at 12 albums.
Yeah, the more they talked about it, the more I feel like this is the case. And I'm a little sad about it, but also I can accept it. Yeah.
Well, okay. It's going to be 12 albums. I feel like it's going to be like my dad retiring, right? Because he retired for like 1 year, and then he went back to work. So I feel like it's going to be, I know they're going to be touring, but like I think that, the album... I'll give it 4 years.
I genuinely feel like if they do another album after the 12th, it'll be under a different band name.
What, Los Unidades? The Nappies? Starfish?
Starfish reunion tour.
Yeah, brother. Let's go.
No, Chris ditches everyone else for Phil and Pectorals comes back.
Oh, let's go. I forgot who said this. It might have been Will. Or Johnny or Guy. It was not Chris that said this, I know that. Where they were mentioning how Chris needs like an end.
It was Johnny.
Okay, great. It was Chris needs like some sort of an end because he's always working. And then I think it was Guy who made the marathon runner analogy.
I thought that was also Johnny.
No.
Okay,
I'm positive it was Guy.
Okay.
Because I remember Zane Lowe being like, "Oh, that's a really good analogy to Guy." But yeah, it was definitely Guy. Where Guy said that, if you tell a marathon runner to just run and just keep going and going, like he's Forrest Gump, if he just keeps going and going and there's no end in sight, then you're gonna overwork yourself and it's no good. So it's good for Chris to have that end,
to have a goal.
Yeah. Have that finish line. So
and I don't feel like he's gonna stop working when he reaches the finish line.
Oh yeah, I
don't think he can physically.
I know. I think. Listen, if we get like solo artist Chris.
No, I don't want that.
I know. Well, okay, I don't mind. Just like a song or two. It would be like stuff like the Karate Kid. You know what I'm saying? Because that was
fair.
fully Chris.
That is true.
So I won't be opposed to that, and no one will tell him no. So
that scares me.
That's what I want. I want the weird
you
stuff.
You can't cut Will out. He's essential to this process.
I need it. Yeah.
Another thing, this was touched on by all 4 band members separately, but like at shows now, that Chris is not really there as like the focal point necessarily, or like to themselves. It's not about them anymore. It's not about their ego or like trying to accomplish something. Instead, they feel more like they're there to facilitate a gathering. This next bit was a quote from Will, but we know what we're here for, to provide a sense of community and a space to feel happy together. They're there for the people, and so they're there to put on a good time for the people. And they all talked about how that helps take some of the pressure a little bit off, because it's no longer about like, oh, we have to have a perfect show so that we can show that we're the best band ever. It's we're putting on this show for all these people who came together to have a good time.
Yeah, and I really do get that sense of community, at a Coldplay show. I mean, just from Brooklyn alone.
Yeah, I got that for sure.
Yeah, like at the Coldplay Extra meetups as well. Like, everyone is super friendly and super nice, and everyone who we got to meet in Brooklyn was super cool. So, yeah, they're really great at like forming that sense of community.
Even just in line for the Today Show, which we ended up ditching, we made friends who were cool.
Yeah. So, hey, Coldplay fans are pretty cool.
Coldplay fans, we love you.
Yeah.
Whether you've listened past Viva La Vida or not. I love you, whether or not you've listened past Viva La Vida.
This album is a way of Chris's way of looking at things in terms of how not to give up, to look at the world with love, which he's mentioned that multiple times, but I think it's like, I feel like he keeps mentioning that just as like a reminder to himself of just always, to look with love.
It hits me a lot harder, now that Moon Music's out, and I'm listening to it a lot, and I'm taking it as like a field guide on how to not give up.
Yeah.
And especially like when I get in a headspace where I feel like giving up, and then to hear Chris talk about that. I don't know. I love him.
Yeah. Just like up and up. Don't ever give up.
Yeah.
I really wanted that as a tattoo, like for so long.
Well, you have an opportunity coming up.
I know.
And also, Don't Give Up is in multiple songs on Moon Music, too.
Yeah, no, but like, don't ever give up.
Okay,
specifically from Up
you could get that.
No, I want Must Before This I Exist.
You could get both.
I'm not gonna get 2 separate Coldplay quotes on my arm.
Get one on your neck.
No,
I know that I was born to kill.
Anyway,
I sprinkled in throughout this are just going to be some random quotes from band members. So here's one from Will. Melancholy is my go-to emotion. I'll just leave that there as a little treat for you.
I left that one for you to say because I know it was your favorite.
I love him.
This little funny bit, and I remember when I heard this live too during a live stream. But Johnny bungled a bit of fliffle intro. His guitar wasn't turned on, and when he ran to go turn it on, and then he accidentally played like a semitone, one of the most discordant things possible to play, and
it's
I remember
not
that.
A note.
Yeah,
it's between the notes.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And then I remember Chris just turning to Johnny like, "What is that?" And then I think they had to start again. I'm pretty positive they had to start again because just Johnny.
Yeah, because you know how Chris is.
Yeah, exactly. Especially at the end of the show too.
If the lights don't work right, he has to start over.
Yeah, and then in the similar vein with Johnny, also in the Dublin shows. Where Johnny, he was playing with a group, well, they were all playing with a group named Aslan, at C Stage, and Johnny had practiced this song that they were going to play in its original key. It turns out nobody was playing that song in its original key. So Johnny had played 2 big power chords in the wrong key, and he was like, that sounds a bit off. Well, okay, he played the first one, and he was like, that sounds a bit off, and then he played...
Well, he looked around, and he was like, well, everyone's playing the same chord. Maybe I'm hearing it wrong.
Yeah.
And he played another
he
one.
doubled down, played another note, and it was still completely off. And then turns out everyone else's guitar was just out of tune.
I feel like that's on everyone else for not telling him.
Yeah, exactly.
There should have been a memo. Will talked with Zane about the sustainability, specifically some of the things that aren't as much talked about, like all the materials that they use where they get reusable materials instead of disposable ones, the types of food they choose to serve, donating excess food to local food banks, and their newer thing, the black drapes behind the stage made of solar materials, which we've covered on here before, like right after this interview came out when that clip was posted online. But they developed a new material for the drapes that go behind the stage that can soak up solar energy the whole time they're in a city. And one of the things Will was saying is that the problems with our environment, they weren't caused by one big thing. It was a lot of little things adding up over time. And so we can't solve them just by like making one big change and then saying all done, finished. It's you have to consciously keep making little decisions in every single aspect of what you're doing, and then those little decisions add up, and they've added up to almost a 60% reduction in CO2 emissions by the band.
Yeah. I really just, I mean, I say this all the time, but I just really have to commend Coldplay for like being like a pioneer as far as like touring and sustainability, you know, because I know plenty of artists out there who just tour, and then don't really, you know, counteract that in any way. I mean, I think the least you can do is do what Coldplay do, and just, you know, at least for every ticket that you sell, you know, you plant trees. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, look at how many tickets that they sold and how many trees that they planted. So, you know, there are always ways to at least do the smallest thing to counteract. And I hope that the technology, as far as like the drapes go, I hope that technology, you know, is widely spread around across the music community industry.
I know another thing Will was saying in this interview, like certain pieces of technology like the drapes, like the special batteries they're able to use, a lot of the things, it's a big investment for the band, and the band has the privilege of being so successful and having so much money. They can afford to invest in those types of new cutting edge sustainability methods that obviously are not going to be available to a lot of other artists, and, you know, test them and make them more affordable and more available.
Yeah. You know, yeah. So I just hope that, you know, more big touring artists use that, and then,
I think it's the impetus is on those huge touring artists who are very successful and popular and have the ability to invest in that, so that it can continue to become more widespread and trickle down.
Yeah, trickle down. I was about to just say trickle down economics.
All right. Ronald Reagan. That was Ronald Reagan.
Yes,
right?
Yes, it was. It sure was.
I know there was also Reaganomics.
That was the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and here's another quote from my man's Johnny Buckland, where he said, tours are like school years, you know, and that was like in the context of, you know, how you would kind of like look back in your life and like measure things by like, oh, I was in middle school when XYZ happened. Oh, I was in high school when this came out, blah, blah, blah. Well, now they're like, okay, we were on this tour when this happened, or, you know. Right,
like to remember when Harvey happened, I always have to convert. I'm like, this was the first half of freshman year, so that means 2017.
For me, that was when I missed a Coldplay. I'm still going to be mad about that I missed a Head Full of Dreams tour.
Forever and ever.
Yeah, forever and ever.
1 million years. And then the cameraman zoomed into Chris's toes.
Very important.
Yeah. Well, it is very important. Good thing you said very important, because Chris said it is very important to him to be barefoot. Yeah. He said that.
Yeah.
They were walking on sharp, wet rocks.
I know. I was concerned.
He's going to get hepatitis again.
Listen, he just loves it. I mean, it's a little bit more acceptable for him to be, like, on the beach or on rocks with his toes out rather than like, the street. Which is more concerning to me than just, like, some rocks. I mean, you know.
Have I told you about the brief period where I went in public barefoot?
No.
I think I knew you would look at me like that.
Anyway, no context to that one. I'll do that. Also important about, I guess, the beach was places where Chris swam in, which was Germany, Ireland, Greece, Austria, Finland, maybe Italy, and Spain.
Specifically just on this year.
Yes.
This, like, tour leg.
Yeah.
He swam in a lot more places than that.
Bro just loves swimming. Good for him.
I want to swim in all those places.
I know, me too.
We should go on a Chris Martin swimming tour.
We have to get a whole list from Chris.
Yeah.
Chris Martin, if you're listening to this.
Send us a list of everywhere he won't be listening to this. It would make him want to kill himself.
No! Chris, we love you, genuinely. Even though, like, we rag on you all the time, like, we don't really mean it.
It comes from a place of love.
Yes, so much love.
You're actually so important to
us. Yeah, genuinely. This entire band's very important to me.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Great news.
Must be for this I exist. Yeah.
The band, Chris also talks about, this is also something that was touched on by the other band members, but after being such, like, a big, successful, popular band for such a long time, the reasons why they do things like put out music and tour, they do it only because they love it and only because they want to give people a good time, and it's not about that ego anymore, and I think that's very cool and special.
Bit of a sad note, and this is why we were telling Chris directly why we love him so much. It's because Chris still has some confidence crashes sometimes, and you know, during a show he could feel when he might be losing the crowd, or, you know, if he says something wrong, or if maybe he does, like, a Jumbotron bit and then, you know, he feels like it doesn't land. You know, there are moments of that during the show where he just feels like, you know, his confidence just is completely lost, and whenever that happens, he usually just goes straight to Will, and, you know, Will just gives him a look, a little nod and a look of, you know, of kind of assurance and support, and, yeah, anyway.
Sometimes I need a little nod and a look from Will.
Yeah.
Chris confirmed what other band members were saying about him, which is that he is working 24/7. He is just, his brain is always on Coldplay mode. And he said he'd be sad if he wasn't working 24/7. Mm-hmm. I think his creative drive gives him a lot of purpose.
And, you know, speaking of course, working so much, you know, of course, we mentioned this earlier, but he has to limit the total amount of albums, because that also means that it's a high quality control as well. You know, you don't want to just keep, you know, pumping out stuff. Quality over quantity, basically.
And I feel like we're really seeing that now with Moon Music.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's so strange to me that they did this entire album on tour, you know, because it's so good. Like, you just can't tell. You can't tell at all.
It feels like they secluded themselves for 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know, pump this album out, not just do this huge, the biggest tour of all time, and, you know, like, and then as well as put out this super good, really emotional album of trying to find yourself in the world and the meaning of everything. I know, I'm gonna start crying.
I was gonna be like, Monica, you have to stop. We have to finish this, and I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah, which is why Coldplay will end after 12 albums. You know, and of course with that, of course they're still gonna make more music together, but it'll be like a separate project. Again, as we said, Starfish reunion.
Yeah, one of the other things Chris was saying is he wants to give the other guys a chance to go have a life outside of Coldplay.
Oh my god.
I know.
Go be dads. Oh my god.
Okay. So a lot of what they talked about next was like everyday life, going into Music of the Spheres as a whole trilogy, not just Music of the Spheres, the album, but like including Moon Music. And so one of the things that they said was everyday life grounded Chris and the band in real life, which then opened up the door for them to be able to go to the spheres.
Yeah.
I really liked that way of looking at it. It felt poetic.
Yeah, because, like, the way that they were talking about, everyday life, it's like, hey, even though we're, like, this big band, like, we see everything that's happening in the world, we see all the problems that's going on, and this is what we have to say about it, and then they're, even today, they're still saying all that stuff, but in a more metaphorical way, and some not so metaphorical way,
Yeah.
Turn on the news or turn it back off. The news is turned off, excuse me.
Yeah, so quick side note about the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
But one of the ways, I think that lyric might mean I turn on the news is turned off all the people that the world forgot. Am I crazy for reading it that way, that line goes with the next line?
With the next line? Maybe, I don't know.
That, like, he's saying the news is turned off of these people that are the people that the world forgot. Yeah,
maybe. It's just like the phrasing of which he sings it. It just sounds like he turns on the news and then he turns it back off, But, that's a really cool way of looking at it, so maybe. And then just speaking of, love and everything, it's just the band themselves are just trying to find a loving path through not loving situations. It's literally what I was just saying about, their looks or their views on everyday life and all the albums since then too, of what the message that they're trying to spread, which is just love.
It's really them saying, everyday life, here's how it is. Music of the Spheres, here is what we have to say about what we should do about that.
Yes, yeah.
And I like that they do both of those things, because a lot of people stop at the here's how it is and everything's awful.
Yeah.
And the only way that leaves you feeling is awful.
Exactly.
Coldplay leaves me feeling full of love. Chris talked about how all of the traveling he gets to do with his job, which he says he's so lucky to be able to do. It helps him realize that nations are all made up, borders are all made up, and everyone is actually pretty much the same, and we are all actually living together on the same place, this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the same.
Mm-hmm. And here's a little Chris book recommendation. It's called The Other by Tom Tryon. How do you pronounce his last name?
Tryon? I don't know. Chris didn't say the name of the author in the interview. I had to look it up.
Oh, okay.
Unless he did and I forgot, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah. That is The Other by Tom Tryon. Tryon. I think it's Tryon.
He's trying.
Yeah. When you're trying your best, but you don't succeed.
Oh my god. I was thinking the same thing, but I wasn't going to say
it. Anyway. And Chris said that there really is no other. Meaning that it was just like really freeing just to kind of think of like life of like everyone has like something that they're fighting against, like everyone has their own problems and situations, it just a look of perspective, right? If you come into a store and then someone gives you bad customer service, it's like sometimes it's not because they hate you, it's most times that person is going through something or is having a bad day, right?
Yeah, like if you go through a McDonald's drive-thru at
3
a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it hit with a lot of things that I've like been learning about recently or like focusing on, where like every single person is being fed a narrative. Like that's the state of the world right now. Everyone is being fed a narrative that there is an enemy. And it's not just like, oh, there's all these people who hate me for existing because they're being fed this narrative that I'm like scary and I'm marking the end of Western civilization, and so I need to be the number one campaign issue that Trump funnels his money into over literally anything else. It's just my existence. But it's not just that. I mean, like, the same thing happens on the other side. Like, to us, like, we're fed this narrative that there is, like, just this huge swath of people who are just inherently opposition. And I see that hit really hard with, like, certain people in my family who buy very much into that ideology of like these are the bad people, and I try really hard to avoid that, even as there's like large groups of people calling for the end of my existence, because it's unproductive, and at the end of the day it's the exact same thing.
You know, and at the end of the day, you know, we're sharing this planet together. Like, why do we have to...
Yeah, that thing you have been taught to fear, whether it is immigrants or queer people or people from a different income bracket than you, or people of a different color than you, at the end of the day, it really is a made-up dichotomy.
Yes, 100%. And so I will definitely be checking out the other by...
Tom Try.
I had to look. I already forgot his name, even though I made a joke out of his last name.
I'll also check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's another quote. It's okay to live a life others don't understand. And this was painted on the side of a trash can.
Yeah. And, you know, one day, I guess, whenever, Chris and Phil were walking the beach, and then Chris had seen that and was like, oh, I really like that. And then whenever they came back for the interview, Chris took a photo of it. Yeah, that's all. That's what I remember. And also, a very important rule. All you can do is follow your heart, which is from the Notebook edition, but Chris touched on this same point during the interview as well, which is very, very true. All you can do is follow your heart.
Yeah.
My heart's saying, please stop spending so much money on Coldplay.
No, it's not. Your heart is telling you to spend more money
on Coldplay. You're right. My wallet hates to see Coldplay. Anything.
Chris and Zane talk about how Coldplay's hits are different than other bands' hits because they're not normally like hits right away. Often their biggest hits are not as popular right away, but then over time become big hits. For example, My Universe, which was immediately a hit because of the Army, respect the Army.
Yeah, respect.
But then after, which I still see the Army posting on. Well, I was scrolling through the Moon Music Elodie comments.
Yeah.
And there were BTS Army posts.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. But then it kind of fell off after that, and when they were performing it live at first, the crowd was just not really into it. And now it can be one of the biggest songs of the show, and it has become such a hit. And similarly, A Sky Full of Stars, when it first came out, got just a lot of hate and was considered like weird. And now, of course, everyone knows A Sky Full of Stars.
This next bit is pretty sad. It's about Tim, who was Avicii, saying of how he passed away, and he didn't really have that support, and in particular, he didn't have, quote unquote, he didn't have a will to really be there and be that rock for him. Because the music industry can be really rough, especially on solo artists with no support. And after all these years, I didn't know how he passed away.
I didn't know either.
I thought for like the longest time that it was a plane crash.
And I thought it was an illness.
Yeah, and I guess no, it was not. Yeah, so it was really rough, and again, just sending so much love to Avicii's family and all that. And anyway, listen to Heaven by Avicii, and also listen to A Sky Full of Stars.
And Levels is on Beat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just important to, I guess, Chris also had this quote, we have to protect all people.
Yeah, he was asked, so he was saying, do we have to be gentle with artists? And Chris said, we have to be gentle with everyone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to protect these solo artists, but we have to protect everyone.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned Chappell Roan.
And Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
I love Billie Eilish.
Yeah. I know Billie Eilish mostly just through you.
Yeah. Her last album is so good.
I've only heard the one song that's on the Monica Songs playlist.
Which one is that one? Birds of a Feather.
Yeah, it's Birds of a Feather.
Oh my god. No, Chihiro is so good. Lunch is amazing and gay.
Today's Sunday.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh wait, I think I might have heard Lunch.
I could eat that girl for lunch.
Yeah, my roommate in Colorado played that song.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love that song so much. Also talking about the new album, Moon Music. Moon Music is about the way Chris feels every day.
The song.
Yeah. The new album, I feel like it's the album and the song itself.
He was specifically talking about the lyrics of that song, though, when he said that.
Okay.
It's about the, feeling, the fact that every morning he wakes up feeling sad and feeling like things aren't working out and he needs help and he needs a friend. And that is how he feels every day.
Yeah. Everyday life.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just think about the lyrics of Moon Music. That makes sense. I should just be another brick in the wall. Okay. We Pray and Viva are the two songs that came to Chris in dreams and made it to being released. Now I'm just curious about what other songs came to,
and
whatever unreleased Coldplay songs.
Just get into Chris's dreams. Yeah. You just want the cut of Chris's dreams. You just want Chris's dreams.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I want to know what's going on up there.
How many of them are about Johnny?
I know, exactly.
About the name of the album, Chris said he doesn't know where it came from or what it means. Interestingly enough, in this interview, he didn't say the thing he's always saying. That's like, oh, it just sounded good. He said, maybe it's about accepting every phase. Maybe it's about giving your light without expecting anything in return. And then he said, but that's more about the sun. And then he talked about how sometimes when he's feeling really bad and alone at night, he'll remind himself that the sun is still shining, even though he can't see it.
Mm-hmm. And then Chris said that he has to put all his feelings into songs because when he says them out loud, he seems like a knob. God, I love this guy.
Chris said one mean thing about another artist in an interview in 2000, and he still feels guilty and regrets it.
Yeah. Speaking of artists that say mean things about other artists, Oasis is getting back together, which is biblical in Chris's eyes, which is very true. I still can't believe that they're getting back together. Oh my God. I wish I got tickets to their tour. Anyway, yeah.
Talking about Alien Hits Alien Radio, first Chris was saying it was teasing something. Now we all know that's the Full Moon edition.
Yeah.
Which at the time when this interview was conducted was not out yet. But he also said it's supposed to be these songs from different angelic or otherworldly or galactic beings who are hearing that question, that message of despair from the first song, Moon Music, and this is their answer to it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to cry, whatever.
And the answer is you have to accept all of your colors and everyone else's colors.
Love forever, all colors.
Love forever, all colors.
Okay.
You're going to get that tattooed.
It's over you.
Yeah.
And, of course, with the lyrics of Jupiter is I love who I love. It's very specifically, I love who I love. He's proud to say that first love, to really, I love who I love. Yeah, it's just...
If you love somebody, let them know.
Yeah. Okay, Violet Hill. Oh, this one, you can say the next one.
Oh, yeah, Chris mentioned trans people very briefly, but it's the first time I've ever heard him acknowledge trans people's existence.
Yeah.
Slay.
Hello. And about queer people in general, you know, and in general, people that you might have been taught to fear, it's all love, you know. It's all about love.
Yeah, he said seeing them all on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
Makes him really realize.
Mm-hmm. The different kinds of people that there are in the world.
And it's just all love for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone loves.
Yeah. I love who I love.
Everyone hurts, cries, and loves.
God. Okay. All right. Okay, everyday life.
Here's another quote for you. Sometimes it's nice to bang out a big one. That's from Chris. I'm just leaving that one there again, like a little treat.
Good for Chris, you know. And here's some very important people supporting the band. We got John Hopkins, Debbie Day, Rossi.
We learned how to pronounce it, guys.
Took us how many episodes, but we got there. And Jacob Collier.
Collier,
yeah. I don't remember.
I don't know if I spelled it right. I just remember.
No, you spelled it right.
Oh, okay. I remember how Chris said it was Collier.
Okay. I should know that. He's famous. I should know that, but
my brain misses. I had not heard of him before this interview.
Oh, he's huge. He's like a music prodigy. Prodigy. There we go. I got there. He's very good at what he does. I mean, well, Human Heart. He worked on Human Heart, and I think other
I love
songs
that
too.
Song.
Yeah. So they.
I'm the only one.
He's very good. He's very good at like creating like chords and harmonies that you wouldn't think of normally. Anyway, he's a teacher for the band. The kid is young. I mean, he's I don't know how old he is, but he has to be probably around my age. Yeah, maybe even younger. I don't know. Yeah, but not just that, not just those people supporting Coldplay, but like Coldplay as a whole is a huge collective. That's everyone. That's me.
I know.
That's me. That's you.
I guess it is.
No, yeah, you're everyone who wants to be part of Coldplay is a part of Coldplay.
Everything in Chris's life he looks at through the lenses of his children and the band. The dual lenses that color every single experience and every single thought throughout his life. And that is why he brings them in on his creativity, because those are the two facets of his existence that are important. So it doesn't make sense to separate them, because to him, they're already intrinsically linked. He wants to make music that his children will enjoy, and he wants his children to be part of the creative process, because that's what's most important to him in life. And his children are what's most important to him in life.
Mm-hmm. Being it's about us, I guess. Being unhinged about Coldplay is therapy for some people, and that's okay. You're welcome, Chris.
It's not really about us. It's more about the people who treat them like a soap opera. Like, it's more about the people who follow around Dakota Johnson and are like, are you guys getting a divorce because you took your ring off? But we are also unhinged about them treat them a little bit like soap opera characters.
Yes. Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
But I think we do treat them more like real people than we treat them like soap opera
characters. Because like in my mind, as far as, me, Daniel talking, and as well as me talking to you, listener, I'm just yapping about Coldplay like I know them, like a couple of characters. But then, I run into them in the staircase. I'm going to keep mentioning this, y'all. in the staircase. And then I just freeze immediately. And I'm like, I forget everything that's happened to me up to this moment.
Coldplay?
Yeah, exactly. And then I immediately want to throw up. So, yeah.
Well, that's because you're allergic. There was a seal on top of a rock, and Chris was very excited. He made the camera people get it, and he was bragging about how he lives in the only place where you could run into a seal, like on a rock, and run into seal, like a kiss from a rose.
Why not both? I would love to see...
No, that's what he was saying. You can run into both.
No. I meant like seal, the singer seal... on a rock in the ocean.
I'm sure he's been on a rock in the ocean.
That's all. And then here's a few songs that came to Chris fully formed. That'd be Viva, Viva La Vida, Yellow, Paradise, Sky Full of Stars, and All My Love. And maybe one more. He doesn't know.
Because he said 6 and then he listed 5 songs.
He just can't count, so.
Yeah. He needs Johnny for the counting.
Yeah.
He had just done the first official live debut of All My Love. We're not counting Athens right now. And when he did it, he told the audience to sing along to a certain part. And Zane was talking about how he could tell, even though they were told to sing along, people were getting really into it and were really touched by the song's message. And Chris was just brushing it off, saying, no, a fake sing-along doesn't count.
Yeah. And kind of to end it off, right before they went swimming, Chris just kept yapping about Oasis and their reunion and how it restores his faith in humanity every day, which is so real. I feel the same way about Oasis getting back together.
I'm sorry we didn't get tickets to see them in Chicago.
All right. Anyway, that was the Zane Lowe interview. You should go check it out. It's really, really good. I have nothing else more to say about it other than it made me really emotional and I really love Coldplay. Anyway, here is my Moon Music tour prediction, set list prediction. I have it up on Spotify. It's public, so I'm going to put the link down in the description. So we're going to start off. All right, no, I'm just going to tell you. You're not even going to look at it. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, listener. I'm going to tell you, Daniel, for the first time, because he doesn't know what's on it.
You're going to get my raw reactions.
Okay. So instead of starting with Music of the Spheres and Higher Power, we're starting off with Moon Music. It feels like falling in love. I really liked it whenever we heard it in Brooklyn, even though I feel like that was more of the setting to hear Moon Music live.
Right.
Rather than to hear it live. But I think the idea of Chris coming out first and then having the band members come out afterwards whenever he says that he needs a friend.
That is very sweet.
Yes.
Although I will be sad if I never get to see Higher Power live.
Oh. Well, again, this is just my...
I know.
What I want. It's just one. Okay. And the next, pretty standard, Adventure of a Lifetime. I think I really like that as a second follow-up song. Gets the energy up. And then I swap this out. I put clocks afterwards. Because green lasers. Although, now thinking about it, I feel like they probably have the green lasers later in the show because it's easier to see it.
When it's darker.
Yeah, when it's darker. But whatever. But then you can't really enjoy Paradise. Anyway.
We're just imagining that the world is dark. It's like a 10 candles game.
Yeah. All right. So we have clocks. And after that... Energy back up. This is where it used to be in the set list. Charlie Brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm jumping.
Yeah. So, see, I don't, because originally I had to, Adventure of a Lifetime, and then Charlie Brown was like, the people are going to die of cardiac arrest from jumping too much. I can't have that happen. So, okay, so Charlie Brown, and then The Scientist, ending that first A stage, bit off. So it's gonna Scientist reverse right into Viva La Vida. That didn't change because I really like the reversal into Viva La Vida. And then after that, we're switching it up. Every teardrop is a waterfall. I want that live.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah. Every teardrop live. And then it'll be songbook. So I put Gravity on here because I was giving you a songbook. That's whatever. That's dealer's choice on that part. And then after that, We Pray. So from songbook right into We Pray, I think would be really cool because he'd be running up to A stage with the boom doo 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 doo. And then we hit him with Paradise.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. We Pray into Paradise. Trust me, I listened to the set list. We Pray into Paradise. Hit. Okay. It hit. And then Yellow. And then straight into Yellow. Which I think is in the same... I think that's in the same place as usually is. And then we end that with a little bit slower bit, with All My Love.
Ooh, okay. So you're not ending the show with All My Love.
No.
Because I am pretty sure, I would put money on the fact that I think Chris is going to end the show with All My Love.
For sure. But I would like it mid-show.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's just too slow to end the show with. If I'm going to put a slow song at the end, it'd be Fix You, right? Anyway, so that, and then we're going to go straight into Light Club, so it's going to be Infinity Sign, and then something just like this, Eterna.
Eterna in full or short
I
and
mean,
Eterna?
it would probably most likely be short and Eterna. But, I mean, you could either swap out something just like this or Him for the Weekend. I just didn't put either on here, but I don't mind that.
In my partially completed one, I had fully cut something just like this to make room for full Eterna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be really cool too, but I don't know. And then after that, we got Good Feelings. And then A Sky Full of Stars. So Good Feelings replaced My Universe.
Okay, in your ideal set list,
yes.
Does Chris stop A Sky Full of Stars?
No. We're trying to pump out more songs here. And then we're going to C stage, so Everyday Life Gang Rise Up. We got Sunrise. Sparks, and then Jupiter. On C stage.
Okay, in my partially completed one, I did C stage first.
Yeah.
And I also put Jupiter on C stage. Yeah. But I replaced Sparks with Us Against the World.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I just love Sparks so much.
I love Sparks also. Yeah. I at first had Us Against the World, then Sparks, and then I cut Sparks for Jupiter.
So anyway, so Jupiter C stage.
Yes, Jupiter C stage. I was on that page.
And then you're going to hear People of Pride.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that you'd moved. That was sneaky. Okay.
Yeah. So, People of the Pride. So, we're going gay and gayer.
Gay and gayer.
And then, and then Fix You after People of the Pride. And then we're ending the show with I'm a Mountain. Because that's what I really want. I just want to hear I'm a Mountain. I remember after, I made the set list, I made so many revisions because I was just like, oh, wait, I forgot about this song in my music. I forgot about this song.
It's not ready for the podcast, but after we record, I'll show you my draft.
Okay, yeah. So that will be on Spotify for y'all to listen to. Yeah, and you know what? I kind of want to make this, a little challenge, too. I want to hear y'all's, dream set list. So tag me at Weekly Coldplay on Twitter, and also hashtag Weekly Coldplay setlist as well. And yeah, we'll just see each other's dream set list or predictions for set list, and yeah, because I also have another actual dream set list, but now that has to change because Moon Music is now out. But yeah, I wanna hear from y'all as well. So yeah.
All right, so now we're going to head right into other news, and we're going to say it all so fast, and it's going to be fine. Chris Martin was featured on Wandering Talk under the... Sorry, I know I say talk weird. Monica's already jaded to it, but I said that for the listener. Under the lead of Orlando LaFleming, something like that. I hope I didn't pronounce his name wrong. It is a Rumi poem turned into contemporary jazz, and I like it a lot. I've listened to it a few times now.
Coldplay had posted on all their social media, they finally released the One World website where it credits everyone. That is coldplay.com/one-world. The link will be in the description. Along with that post, there was a One World video that looks like that might be from A Film for the Future, hopefully. Yeah.
There are now videos of the Brooklyn show available on the SiriusXM app. The videos that are available are We Pray, Viva La Vida, Yellow, Good Feelings, and All My Love.
Got all my love. On YouTube, the All My Love single artwork is just a bunch of balloons, and it's really cute. Also, they cut out Johnny Solo in the single version.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we hate it.
I didn't tell you this, but my dad compared Nigel to Pennywise. But he did say Nigel was not like Pennywise, but just the fact that he brought up the connection. There was a TikTok of the... Okay, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, and it's going to be okay. The Mzansi Youth Choir singing We Pray for QVC.
It is very good. It sounds so good.
It's fantastic. If you didn't catch the performance on QVC, I think it's still up, but they were great.
Yeah.
They had their own verse and everything.
The ESA, which is the European Space Agency, they had an Instagram post about the second brightest comet ever recorded passing through the sky, and they had a wave as a sound. So, Shout out A Wave.
And DHL posted on TikTok a DHL x Coldplay ad about their sustainability.
Slay. My boy, Simon Pegg, who Daniel doesn't know, but...
No, I do know him because he was in The Force Awakens.
Anyway, Simon Pegg, one of my favorite actors. I watch Shaun of the Dead every Halloween. Simon Pegg had posted on Instagram, it was a photo of him as one of the drunken Elvises for the Christmas Lights music video with Coldplay right behind him. It said, "It's hard to overstate the importance of hiring a good backing band. These guys were so sweet, and although I had to let them go due to everyone fancying the bassist, I thoroughly enjoyed my time as their frontman."
I misread that. I copy-pasted it, so that is what it actually says, but I originally misread it as him saying it was because he fancied the bassist too much, and that's why he had to fire them.
Well, everyone fancied the bassist so much.
There was an episode of The Human Podcast all about Debs. It's called The Life Story of the Lady Who Discovered Coldplay, and we'll talk more about it next week.
Yeah. Beatstar. Beatstar update. Good Feelings was on Tour Pass with The Sky Full of Stars, but it cost $10.
Come on, it's over.
Yeah, and there was like a Coldplay skin and banner and all that.
And also it cost $10 for like the chance to get it, and then you had to unlock it.
Yeah. But speaking of games as well, there was a Coldplay Tycoon in Fortnite ends today, which is the day that we're recording. So by the time this is released, you won't be able to play it. I'm sorry. It's a lot of fun though, but I hate that you can't save it. Because every time I have to go back in it, I have to do everything again. That's what really sucks about it. But whenever you get to like the third island, which is Music Island, and you build it, there are screens everywhere on every part of the Tycoon. There are screens everywhere playing, different various Coldplay stuff. But then it's interspliced with iHeartRadio interviews. So it's the ones that we talked about, and then one that I didn't see, which is the one where Chris is talking about Good Feelings. And apparently Good Feelings is about migrant workers, which I didn't know about until I played Fortnite Tycoon. Anyway, so whenever you play the game, you first hear whenever you first get there, you hear moon music, and then when you get to the second place, which is the moon, you hear Good Feelings, and then whenever you get to the third place, Music Island, you hear We Pray, the teeny version, because it was showing the Dublin street videos on the screens. Anyway, I'm gonna play it whenever I get home, because I have to grind. That was like the quickest I've ever gotten XP in Fortnite, legitimately, was playing that Tycoon, because I just kept gaining XP. It just kept gaining and gaining and gaining it. So I have to go and grind so I could get to level 100 so I can finish the battle pass. Because it ends on November 2nd.
Barcelona made a post saying talent recognizes talent, with Johnny hanging out with some of the footballers and signing their jerseys.
Yeah, and also Barcelona won 4-0.
It's because of the Coldplay jerseys.
Yeah, clearly. Also, speaking of Barcelona, they are giving away a trip to see Coldplay. That is full round trip.
And it's open to anyone.
Yeah.
And we will, I think we can put a link to their thing in our description.
Yeah, we will.
Australian Coldplayers can pre-order Moon Music from Warner Music Australia and be entered into a draw to win tickets and a meet and greet with the band. But you have to be in Australia. They won't take you to Australia. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't know when that ends. I couldn't find when that ends. So I'll put a link in the description, but I'm sorry if it already ended by the time.
It has not ended now as of recording, but there wasn't information about when it does end.
Yes, exactly. And that's the news.
That's the news. All right, so now is our last bit where, because we don't have any kind of sponsor, we make negative money off of this podcast, we choose to highlight a different charity every single month. This is our last episode of October, so it's our last episode featuring the charity Not a Phase, which you can find at notaphase.org. Their link will also be in our description. They are a charity run by and for trans plus individuals throughout the UK. They focus on awareness campaigns as well as inclusion through their Misfits program. And I just wanted to touch on some quotes from real people who have benefited from this Misfits program. So, I couldn't be more grateful. I couldn't step in a typical gym before, and Misfits opens up a whole new world. That's from Tane. Misfits is a community founded on mutual respect and care. That's from Ash. These folks know their stuff. Awesome crew, cadets, and it's always fun. Honest. Alice. And Misfits has been perfect to help rebuild my confidence, gave me a sense of community, and has helped me get back to the thing I love. Sophia. And I think it's really cool that a program like that exists. So you can check it out at notaphase.org, where you can learn more about what they do or make a donation. Or if you're in the UK, join their program. All right, and I think that's everything for today.
Yeah, that's everything. Yeah, we had to speed run through this episode.
We made it.
Yeah, but we made it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back next week with more Coldplay news. We are Weekly Coldplay. My name is Monica.
My name is still Daniel.
And thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Weekly Coldplay. For more Coldplay content from us, check us out on Twitter at Weekly Coldplay and Instagram at weekly.coldplay. That is weekly, Coldplay. And if you like what you hear, give us a follow on wherever you're listening to this podcast on. Thank you again, and we'll be back next week with more Coldplay news.